everybody! This week on Ask Kristen, I'm talking about 3 men and no baby, or actually just 1 man who doesn't want any babies. So, not that movie at all. This week's Ask Kristen question is coming from Andy Sampson 2. My grandmother was diagnosed with ALS 4 years ago and passed away about a year ago. Sorry for your loss, Andy. Since then, I've been solid in my mind that having kids is not for me because in my family, this disease is genetic. I'm currently in college, but I've rarely met women who don't want to have kids. Do you have any advice for guys out there who feel like they're stigmatized for not wanting to have kids? This is one of those things where, at least from what I've observed, roughly 99% of the conversations about to have or not to have kids focus almost exclusively on women and implying just silently that men are just not as invested in the whole parenthood thing. Like if it happens, it happens. And I've talked before about the very real stigma that women face anytime they say, I don't want kids. But the same kind of stereotyping happens for men as well. It just takes on different forms. A lot of times, guys who say that they don't want kids are assumed to just be irresponsible or playboys, or they're commitment phobic. So I couldn't find any statistics quantifying just how many men face this kind of stigma. Anecdotally, it absolutely exists. I mean, it's echoed in Andy Sampson 2's comment, and I have a feeling, Andy, you probably get the response that a lot of young women complain about when they say, yeah, I really don't want kids, which is, you just don't know yet. Or if you're a straight guy, you probably hear, just wait till the right woman comes along. You will want to impregnate her faster than... What's fast? As for how you manage this in your personal life, Andy Sampson 2, I would first recommend, outside of any dating scenario, just taking a little bit of time to consider your level of desire to not want kids and your motivations for not wanting kids. It could be the case that I don't want kids now versus I don't want kids ever, versus if ALS had no chance of being passed on to my kids, then I would definitely want kids. Obviously, biological kids are not the only ways that you can become parents. If it is a deal breaker, that's something you absolutely need to disclose. You need to lay out how non-negotiable that is. Maybe that involves getting a vasectomy. If you do find yourself in a serious long-term relationship where kids are not an option for you, I think it would be worthwhile for you as a partner to that person to also consider where compromise outside of that might lie. A relationship has to work with 2 people's inputs and 2 people's needs being met. If kids are something that you really don't want, that the other person really does want, there's a good chance that it's not going to work out down the road. But if the other person is like, yeah, you know what, I'm kind of on board for this, but if we don't have kids, we gotta travel, you know, then if I were you, be open to travel. So now it's time for a conversation. I'm so curious to know, guys who don't want kids, people who've been in relationships with guys who don't want kids, let me know what you think about this and also about the whole vasectomy option. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And as always, thanks to everybody who watched and commented on last week's Ask Kristen video. Too many orgasms! Abby19822 said, after a lifetime of having trouble achieving orgasm, my extremely patient partner has been helping me condition my body to be more receptive. With years of practice, I'm able to have an orgasm so easily that we stopped trying to count how many I can have in one session. Amy's Thoughts 833 said, I have had an experience with reaching orgasm via no touching or direct stimulation. I was on a crowded train going to work one morning around 10 years ago when I thought myself to orgasm, and I had all the classic feelings I would normally get and climaxed on the train around people, and nobody knew what I was doing. So yes, I can say that you can orgasm by using your mind alone. And as always, friends, ask me your questions so I can give you some answers.